Basic Microsoft Word Course, Lesson 2, Totally Tunes. In this lesson we're going to discuss how to space text correctly in Word, to understand why using multiple spaces is a bad idea, and in so doing practicing our word processing skills. By the end of the lesson you should feel comfortable to use the correct techniques when spacing text. Okay, when performing the task in last lesson, you probably didn't use the most efficient techniques for spacing out your text within the letter. If you just use the space bar to space out text, that's a really bad idea, and you shouldn't do it. And here's an example as to why not. Spaces don't have a fixed size, so it's impossible to line them up correctly. If you look at this example text, there are 10 spaces at the start of each line, yet they're clearly not lined up. There are several techniques for spacing text correctly. Text boxes not a good idea as they interrupt the text flow, especially if the document goes over more than one page, so avoid using text boxes where possible. Okay, as last time, head for the ict4ocr.com/ECDL website. Go for the word lessons, and this time we're looking at lesson 2. If you scroll down, the task is available from here. I would suggest first let's type out the words, and then once we've done that we can deal with the formatting. So, launch Microsoft Word, and then enter the text. Okay, so I've entered all the words, and I've not yet dealt with the footer. So, let's put in the footer. Insert, footer, blank. And I want the words www.totallytunes.co.uk, and then close the header and footer. Okay, so all the text is there now, and now we need to apply the various kinds of formatting. Let's start with the top, the title, Totally Tunes UK. This is to be centralized, so in the paragraph section, center. It wants to be Calibri, size 24, bold. Now the font color, we're being asked for red accent 2 darker 25%. Which to me looks quite a lot like a maroon colour. Maybe something like this. Okay, next, let's look at the address, the telephone number and the fax number. The spacing between my lines is too large. So, let's select the address, telephone number and fax number. And now, this button, the one that says line and paragraph spacing, let's remove space after paragraph. We also want this section to be aligned to the right, so in the paragraph section, take it to the right. But I want it lined up. This doesn't look right. Let's take it back to the left again. The method we're going to use now is we're going to say that we want all of these lines indented so they start at 11 centimeters. And we can see the ruler up here. This is 11 centimeters, so we want to start from about here. To do that, select the Layout tab, and in the paragraph section, set the left indent to 11 centimeters. Then click away. Now we're indented at 11 centimeters and the whole of the left-hand side is lined up. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention, if your ruler wasn't showing, to do that it's View and then check or uncheck the ruler option. Now let's move on to New Name, Same Service. We want to centralize it, so Paragraph Center. We'd like it to be Verdana 16 bold, so the font style Verdana 16 and bold. Okay, I just noticed I missed the Verdana 11 for this part, so let's just make that Verdana 11. And now let's get on to the rest of the letter. We want to indent the first line of the first paragraph. So click just before the A of As and press the Tab button, which you'll find on the left of your keyboard. We also want this text to be Verdana 11. In fact, I think it's going to be Verdana 11 right the way to the bottom. So let's do that. And now we're up to the section which says chart albums, chart double albums and chart singles. We want the words to appear at 3 centimeter indent, and we want the prices to start at 7 centimeters. Okay, to do that we need to set up tab stops. So let's select from chart albums to chart singles. Make sure you've got your ruler showing, and just underneath the 3 on the ruler, press the left mouse button, and you'll see a small capital L. Do the same just under the 7. Okay, these have now been set so that when you press Tab, it'll take you vertically underneath the L's. So, now they've been set up, let's select just before chart albums and press Tab. Then, just before the pound sign, press Tab. Next line, do the same, Tab and Tab. And third line, Tab, and just before the pound sign, Tab again. Now, the only problem we have is the middle line, and that's because the words chart double albums encroach on where the next tab stop would be. So, what I would suggest here, let's just reduce the size of this font. Let's take it down from size 11 to size 10, and now we'll see everything lined up just beautifully. Next job is to select from Yours Sincerely to the end of Totally Tunes UK, and we want this to be centralized, so Paragraph Center, and to replace the name with your name. Finally, in the footer, so let's double click in the footer to open it. We want this to be centralized, so Home and then Center, and we want it to be Calibri size 11. Okay, we now want to close the footer. To do that, click on the Header and Footer tab, and at the end will be Close Header and Footer. Okay, so we've looked at various techniques for spacing text, and in the next lesson we're going to discuss screenshots, cropped screenshots, and annotation. Okay, I look forward to seeing you then.